Welcome to another gorgeous day on planet Earth and another day of a dose of Did You Know, where intriguing, inspiring, unique individuals come to talk about love and life and how it's brought them to where they are sitting in this moment. And I have the cutest little nugget. I mean, seriously, when you popped on, I was like, she looks just like her pictures, which is rare because sometimes I'm like, ooh, wouldn't have picked you out of a lineup, but you show up exactly how you look. With me is Savannah Rae. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I am doing fantastic. I woke up this morning. I got to tell you, so I'm obsessed with hummingbirds, and I do not know where this came from. Like, probably within the last 2 or 3 weeks, there's something about them that are like, they're just these magical beings. And I feel like I'm a little frozen this morning, which is whatever. Even though I'm hardwired in, I think the internet is against me and saying, no, we don't like you. But anyways, I woke up, I have this whole wall that looks over Camelback Mountain in Scottsdale, and I have this hummingbird feeder, and I like, when your eyes are half awake and half asleep and just kind of like this, and there were these hummingbirds in the feeder. I'm like, it is going to be a magical day today. Like, seriously. And then I get to start it with you. But before we get going, tell the world a little bit about who you are.
Sure. Well, my name is Savannah Rae. I'm 22 years old. I am originally from Texas. I'm living in Tennessee right now, though. We moved over here to get me closer, to Nashville, get me closer to the music and the working and all that. I've been doing music for about 10 years, so it's been, 12 years old. I started, and it's been a decade, so we're chugging along. But I do country music, if you can't tell by the hat. But yeah, I'm really lucky to be able to do what I do. Very, very blessed. I'm working with some great people out in Nashville, releasing some music. I just released a new single last week, which I'm sure we'll talk about later. But yeah, that's a little bit about me.
I kind of love that. Like, I always wonder, when you started so young, was it like your family musical, or was it just something you came out and you were like, this is my purpose that God put on my heart, and here I go. You're with me or you're without me. Like, what was it for you?
Yeah, I think I'm the first musical person in my family, besides singing in the car and singing in the shower. I think I'm pretty much the first one to actually take it, to that next level. But I think I have to give the credit to my parents. I give them pretty much all the credit as far as fostering kind of my love for music. They grew me up on everything from rock to pop to country to like 15th century classical music. I have an love and appreciation for everything music wise. But when I was around 10 or 11, they started taking me to concerts, and we would go to concerts all the time, and I was just so enamored with watching these people up on stage. And it wasn't until I was around 11 and a half, 12 that I went to an Evanescence concert. I don't know if you're familiar with the band Evanescence, but Amy Lee is the lead singer. She is incredible. She's absolutely amazing. And, that really inspired me seeing her up on there, as a girl in music. I was like, wow, that's so cool. And I told my mom, I was like, I want to do what she's doing. Like, I want to be just like her. And so they took me very, very seriously, which is fortunate for me. And they enrolled me in guitar lessons and vocal lessons. And it kind of just took off from there. I joined a group called Rockstar Academy, which is owned by a guy named Michael Morales. He's won a couple Grammys and everything. So he kind of put all of these kids together in a room and kind of had us just jam out with each other. And so we started doing shows and concerts and stuff. And I think the first time that I was up on stage, that was just kind of like sealed the deal for me. That just kind of gave me the bug, and I've been doing it ever since. And that was when I was 12 years old. And so it's been a couple of years for sure.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, there's so many things I want to ask you about. It was like, first, that when you're like, you never know who's watching you. Like, there she is up on stage singing, and there you were, this cute little thing, in the audience being like, oh, that is what I want, right? So we never know who's watching, which is a good reminder, because, keep your balance, keep your balance, and keep moving upward and forward. So how did you get connected in that group? And did you sing first in that group? Like, how did you meet this guy? Did your parents know him? Was there an ad in the paper? Like, how did that happen?
I think it was something like an ad somewhere, and I just saw Rockstar Academy, you know, something for like people my age, you know, 12 to 15, 16, 17,
Yeah.
whatever it was, just kind of getting together and doing music, you know. And I of course went in for guitar and vocals, and then we kind of just put bands together, and we started just playing here and around, you know, San Antonio, which is where I was at the time. That's where I'm from. And so it just kind of took off from there. And that's when I really decided that I wanted to do music full time and for pretty much the rest of my life.
Yeah, yeah. I wondered if that guy made that to try to like if it was actually like you like an academy or a school to develop, but then on the side note, did he have people watching you guys to see who the next big, like who was going to continue on, like you've continued on, and who's going to fizzle out? And I'm just so curious. Do you know the backstory behind that? I don't know. You were young.
Yeah, I mean, we obviously, you know, we got together and jammed and just kind of had fun, but there was a lot of learning behind it. You know, I learned the basics of playing guitar. I learned how to use some of my voice as much as you can use it, you know, 12 years old.
Yeah.
At that time, I also had a great vocal teacher, which is he's still my vocal teacher now. His name is Buster Grant. He's in San Antonio. He's one of the best people I've ever worked with, and I still work with him now. And so it's cool to have, you know, that kind of relationship for so long.
Yeah.
And for him to be there for me. But yeah, I mean, it's just it was, I would say it probably was more of like a fun thing, you know. It was just such a cool experience
Right.
for me. That kind of sealed the deal as far as performing for me. And from there I kind of took it and ran with it, and I was like, okay, this is what I want to do, so let's get serious. Let's start, you know, learning some songs. Let's start really hammering down on the guitar. Let's start really pushing myself to actually go and do more shows, and, you know, to start recording music, to start writing music, all of that.
That's pretty cool. You like, I do think you have to have a little bit of that kind of personality inside you where like you're given this and then you're like, all right, I'm going to take this and move to the next level. And then I'm going to take that and move to the next level. So you have to have that inside kind of gumption, like you apparently do.
Yeah. It was definitely kind of within me because, like I said, I've always loved music. And so taking it to a next level of, okay, this is something that I want to do for a career choice was definitely something that is, you know, not everyone wants to do it as a career. Some people just want to do it as a hobby, and that's cool. I just decided that, okay, this is what I want to do for, you know, the rest of my life. And at that point in time, I was extremely shy, like so shy. I had intense stage fright. Like it was pretty bad as far as how shy I was. But, you know, getting to the habit of going out there and playing shows and everything, and really putting myself out there, it kind of helped me to overcome that shyness.
See, everybody, just because you have something on your heart, there's like two ways, right? It can stay as a hobby, or you can change it into a career, but you have to be willing to break through some things that aren't basically natural. Like if you're a shy person, you have to, because you know what? I think we're a little bit like, I'm naturally more of a shy person. I have developed this outgoing persona and loving on people. Like I just will talk to everybody, which I get it. Some of my friends are like, Danielle, elevators are not for talking. I'm like, that is exactly what elevators are for. They can't run away from you. You know?
Exactly.
But it's something that you have to learn and develop it if you want to kind of take something from one way or another way. But all right, we got to get into the single because I think it's so cool. I was watching your the trailer and the video. So fun. Is that like your house? Is that like who you really are? I want to know all about this. I want to know, like, did you orchestrate this? First, did you write the song? Secondly, did you kind of put together how you wanted to see the video to be? Because it's so cool. You got your hat, you're out on, it looks like you're on some sort of farm. You've got like a four-wheeler. So it just looked fun.
Yeah, so Typical Texas Girl I wrote with my friend named Jessie Isley, and it actually used to be Not Your Typical Texas Girl, but then I was like, you know, the song is mainly about kind of combating some of those stereotypes that Texas girls face. You know, they see the rhinestones, they see the big hair, you know, they see everything that's on the outside, but I kind of wanted to poke fun at that and be like, okay, but y'all look at what's on the inside. You know, we're strong, we're resilient, we're hardworking, you know, we're wise, we're this, that, and the other. And I wanted to just kind of like poke fun at that in a really, really fun and upbeat way. And so it shortly after that got changed to Typical Texas Girl, because I'm like, I'm proud to be a Texas girl. You know, I'm proud to be that typical Texas girl. It's like, sure, we say higher the hair, closer to God. Yeah. But, you know, at the same time, it's like, we are very, very special in the fact that we come from such a cool place that I think that there's some morals and values there, and just how we're raised that is just very, very cool to me. And so I wanted to, you know, poke fun at that. And so it turned into Typical Texas Girl when I got with my friend Britton Cameron, who writes for people like John Party and Dylan Carmichael, and then of course country music legend Pam Tillis, that I got to write that song with. It wouldn't be what it is without Pam. She put so much great input in there, and she came up with some of my favorite lines in the song. And so to write something with her, you know, she's a country music legend. So that's just blows my mind still. And, you know, writing with someone that you grew up listening to and grew up admiring, it's such a cool experience. So to have her be a part of that is really, really awesome. And as far as the video goes, that was something that I just kind of came up with as far as the treatment goes. You know, I wanted to showcase some of the things that typical Texas girls do, because I have, you know, my hair curled, I have my makeup done, I'm, you know, looking all glam and whatnot. But at the same time, you know, it's like I'm on the 4-wheeler, I'm moving this 200-pound plow wheel that got dirt caked all over it, I'm on a horse. You know, I just wanted to showcase some of that. It's like we can do both. You know, there's a lot of different sides to the typical Texas girl.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. What was it like when you first went in with Pam? I always think, geez, you know, you have these people that you admire, or, you know, they've got such gifts, and you, like you said, you grow up, or for a long period of time, you're listening or reading or watching. And then you have that moment where you're like, oh my gosh, this is actually my life. I'm with them. Did you have a short bit of, I don't want to say like star, you know, what is that saying that they say?
Like Starstruck?
Yeah, Starstruck, but then at the same time, this like, how cool is this? How blessed am I that I worked so hard? I mean, you worked to get that.
Yeah,
like,
right. But it's still so cool. Yeah, I mean, it's really weird. I always say that it's kind of like a outer body experience, to where you're like, you're in the moment and you're there and you're like, this is awesome, but it doesn't pretty much hit you until afterwards, until you go home and you're like, wow, that was super cool. Like, I'm one of those people to where that's what happens to me. I'll be like lying awake at night, I'm like, wow, that was crazy. And it's hard, you know, to be in the moment while also thinking about all these other things. You're like, oh my gosh, like 12-year-old me would have just like killed to be here. And I just think that's really cool, though. You know, it's one of those crazy like outer body experiences where you're just like, wow, this is awesome.
Yeah. And it's also one of those reality checks, like,
right.
I mean, like, whoa, if you ever are doubting yourself, or like, is this right? I mean, I think that's natural. And people that say they don't, I mean, they must be way egotistical, like narcissist out the ass if they think like it was right. But it's one of those times when you're doubting, you can actually look back and be like, no, God has me on the right path. Like, there are these little gifts and blessings that are happening along the way. Keep chugging along and focus more on that than.
Yeah, I mean, it's really difficult being an independent artist, and there are so many hurdles and so many obstacles that you have to jump through. And also being an independent artist, there's about, 8 other jobs that well, you just think it's, oh, music, sing and play the guitar. Oh no, there's like 8 other different jobs that you got to do being an independent artist. And so at times it can get very overwhelming and very discouraging, especially when you don't have like a lot of help behind you. Gratefully, I have a really, really good team, that I've put together, and they're pretty much the only reason why I'm doing anything, at all. But I think that little things like that along the way really motivate you and kind of tell you, okay, you must be doing something right. Like, to have a blessing like that, to have an experience like that, there must be someone out there somewhere is handing me, okay, you got this, Savannah,
Yeah. And what tools of just life that you can translate into relationships, raising children one day, if that's what you want. Of like, it really is the team around you. There is not one person anywhere on this human earth that has become anything just on their own self. It is,
Right.
the ones that are successful and stay successful are the ones that realize their humility and create that team around them, right? You stay strong to your core and your beliefs, and then you create what aligns with those things. And I always feel like, when you're off stray, when you have someone enter your life that you question, or but you don't want to really recognize that they don't necessarily align with you morally, and then it always falls to shit. Always, like guaranteed. Whether it's an hour or a couple of years later, it never works. They kick themselves right out. So you having that ability to create such a strong team that aligns with you at such a young age is it's going to bring you such value in all your life. That's really cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely been a long 10 years, and I have learned a lot. Far more than I ever thought that I could, being the age that I was, and growing up, those are very formative years, and I spent them pretty much just pursuing my dream and pursuing my passion. But at the same time, it's also work. So, it's really important to have all those people around you that really, really align with your beliefs and your morals, but also see you as an artist and, okay, what does Savannah want to do? What does Savannah want to sound like? What is going to be authentic to Savannah? Because you never want to put anything that's like false out there. And I found myself doing that often because I was being led astray by people who I thought, were on my side, were on my team, had my best interests at heart. And it's really hard to find that core team and find those core people. Mm-hmm. But I think now that I'm finally, coming into myself, I'm 22, finally figuring out who I am as a person, much less, an artist or anything, what kind of music I make. But also, those people kind of coming around me, and I really owe a lot to my family for all the sacrifices that they've made, in order for me to pursue my dreams. I really owe a lot to, my team around me. My producer, Andrew Lane, out in California. Like I said, my vocal coach, Buster Grant, Paula Ann, Blaze Entertainment, for, all of these people having my back all the time and helping me to succeed and do what I want to do, for my career.
Mm-hmm. It's cool. And it's good that you recognize sometimes when you were pushed astray, because those feelings you'll always remember. It's like smell, right? You could smell something 5 years later and be like, oh my God, that reminds me. Well, same with those feelings that you have developed of the good ones, and then the ones that were not so good, you'll remember and be like, okay, I don't know why, but I know we're not going down that path again. We're gonna like revert this way.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's all just a learning experience, and it's just all, things that I've been through that have helped me, okay, we're not going to do that again. We're not going to do that. Let's, do the thing that has proven time and time itself to, be successful. And it's definitely been a learning experience, but I think we're in a good place now.
Good. Just keep moving forward. That's it. You can go up or you can go backwards. You have a choice. So make it a smart one. But Savannah, thank you for telling me so many life lessons, not just for like how you have become such a young, successful artist, but like transfer that into your own life, everyone. Like I always say, walk away with something from this conversation. And I think I'm walking away definitely with knowing those internal feelings. You know what it feels like when you're going down that wrong path. So just stop it. You don't even have to figure it out. You'll figure it out later, but just like stop sign, put your brakes on, revert, and then then figure out what was that bad feeling. But at least get yourself out of that. That's like my takeaway, maybe. But I am going to apply daily. So before I let you go and start your beautiful day, well, I'm starting my day. You're a couple hours ahead of me. Is in this moment right now, Savannah Rae, what does love mean to you?
I think it means to me and I'm probably going to use some examples here, as far as like my parents and, my family, and they're pretty much like my core group, like doing anything for someone else, not expecting anything in return, just doing it out of the kindness of your heart because you really love that person. As far as like my family, they have made so many sacrifices because they see how much I love music, and they see, how much it's just like my world and everything. And they have made so many sacrifices for me to be able to do it, including moving through various states, homeschooling me at certain parts so I could be on the road, traveling with me day in and day out. My brother's homeschooled so that we can travel all the time. It's just things like that you see them doing all the time that I'm like, wow, that's, the definition of love, putting others before yourself, sacrificing for other people. I think that that's, one of the biggest, I think, kind of check boxes on, do they love me or not? And so I think it's just such a beautiful thing to have people like that in my life that will just do anything and everything, to just show that they love me and that they're there for me. And I think that that's such a beautiful thing.
And so powerful. That is so true, because there is so easy to make excuses up of why you can't sacrifice for someone else's well-being or someone else moving forward. So easy to do that. And right, like they could be legit reasons, but to just be like, nope, my heart is for them and I'm going to put my actions behind it. Powerful. That's
yeah, I think that's definitely a thing too. You can say that you love someone, and that may be true, that sure, maybe, but it's doing things that like really, really show that. It's like, putting others before yourself. And I think that that's even more of a testament to, love in itself. And so I think that's really awesome.
Yeah, taking that next step. It's just basically a next level of love. You kind of can see what range of love the person's at, right?
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's like that old saying, actions speak louder than words. And I mean, words are great. Words are beautiful, and I think that they can really, they're a great thing. But at the end of the day, it's like, I've had so many people sacrifice for me and just show me like how much that they care for me, and I'm like, wow, that really is just so awesome, and that really is just proves that that's love is one of the greatest things in the world.
Yeah, it is. Well, thank you. And I love your answer. It was like what my ears needed to hear, like solidify what I've been feeling and journaling about and talking to God about. And he just like plopped it into your mouth and out for me. So everybody out there, this was just all for me. This has nothing to do with anybody. I'm gonna be greedy in this moment and take it all in.
It's all yours.
Thank you. Thank you so much for joining us today. And for everybody else out there, remember, as always, love hard, love pure, and love proactive. Till next time.